My name is Marc I'm President and CEO of Heaven's Door Spirits and Spirit Investment Partners. Well, I got into spirits in 2010, launched a brand called Angel's Envy. We kind of hit the market at the right time with a unique brand and a really good juice, and did extremely well. I said, let's do that again. I had read that Bob Dylan filed a trademark application for a whiskey called Bootleg. And I thought it was really interesting that he would want to own anything, particularly launch a whiskey brand. I was fascinated just thinking about what that would be. After thinking about it for a little while, we thought having a singular whiskey expression for somebody like Dylan, who's so prolific and diverse in his music, just didn't seem to make sense. And so we thought maybe an evolving repertoire collection, or catalog, if you will, of whiskeys was more on brand. And in conversations with Bob, that kind of evolved into having whiskeys that told stories in their own way. What got us really excited was looking at his visual art. And as a lifelong Dylan fan, I was amazed to learn that he was a painter and a sculptor. So we thought this positioning of the perfect blending of art and craft could be a really fun place to play. So using Bob's paintings and his metalwork as the inspiration for the bottle designs. We mocked these up and they just stood out, they popped, they were absolutely beautiful, both the metalwork and the paintings. So much so we couldn't decide which we liked better. So we thought that we would use the metalworks for our regular releases, and then a very high-end limited release once a year that we call the Bootleg series, which are porcelain bottles with Bob's paintings on them. We have our own mash bill produced for us by a couple different distillers, and you know when you taste it if it's great. The harder part is how do you take that great liquid and then do something to it that makes it better, particularly when you're starting with a great core product. You don't want to bastardize it, but you do want to give it some nuance and some character. So as we're constantly going through different finishes and blending, we started to think, what else can we do that's really different and unique? There's a Dylan quote that I like. He said, "What do you do when you finish your masterpiece? You paint another." And that's just kind of this relentless pursuit of discovery that I think sums Bob up. So this is new news for whiskey drinkers out there, but we've been working on building our own distillery for some time. We concluded a deal recently where we acquired a distillery in a town called Pleasureville, Kentucky. It's on the Bourbon Trail between Lexington and Louisville. And this is like part American history tour, part craft distillery. It's absolutely stunning. 160 acres of rolling hills. There's a grist mill to grind grain, 2 aquifers, so we're pulling natural limestone water out of the ground, geothermal energy. This is one of the most green distilleries anywhere in the country. We're buying additional farmland where we'll have our own herd of buffalo. So the spent grains that when we're done, we can feed to our own herd. So it's very sustainable and very renewable. We're growing our own heirloom grains, so truly grain to glass. It's a very exciting proposition. We plan to open the distillery probably late spring of next year. So the distillery is purely distillery, and we have a church in downtown Louisville that we're renovating now that will be our brand experience, and it'll have some of Bob's visual artwork, his paintings and his sculptures there on display. We'll curate other exhibits by other artists. We hope to have the largest selection of American whiskey anywhere, rather than just feature our own. This is really going to be the high church of bourbon. So we're out procuring every unique and rare bottle we can. This will look like nothing compared to what we're building in our church right now. We'll have a small performance space in the church, a full restaurant, and then the art gallery. This is not a license deal, it's not a sponsorship deal. This is Bob's brand and something that we wanted to do, and we're here to help him realize that vision. And so it's interesting when people ask, is he involved? Why did he do a whiskey? And as we think about like, what is his persona as we answer that question, it's like, well, why does he paint? Why is he sculpting? He has a boxing ring in his home. The man tours 100 days a year in his 80s. So what drives that creative passion to constantly reinvent yourself and push yourself? That's who Bob is, and I think that we draw inspiration from that. And I think it comes through in the work that we're doing.